The Curse of the Draugr. With the world wrought and the gods at peace, both Vanir and Azir, finally I had time to wander again, to see what was, and to see what needed yet to be. Long I walked upon the Bifrost, and many trails did I follow in many of the realms, and there I espied the worlds as they were, and with my mighty piercing eye, my mystic vision, coupled to my now prodigious wisdom, I envisaged what would unfold if matters continued as they did, and I noted the signs all around. The realms we forged from the bones and sinew of Ymir, and I saw that if we, the gods, did not bring order and righteousness, then to Ymir's ways all would return, especially amongst the dwarfs, and then the sons of Ashla and daughters of Embla, the mortals. Though the breath given to the ash and yew gave virtue and strength, wisdom and courage, yet too did the evil of Ymir run strong in their veins, and I foresaw a time when the mortals would tire of custom, tradition, respect, and good honest craft. And in that time, the mortals would permit Haugbrot, the robbery of their ancestors' mounds, their very resting places. Wishing to outshine their ancestors, they would take unto themselves the riches of those who came before, for they were unable or unwilling to gain them by honest toil or valor. And if naught was changed, then the sons of Ashla and daughters of Embla would turn on one another, and they would become sick with avarice and mean of spirit. They would deride the worthy and brave, and herald the accumulation of riches gained by the hand of others. And tyranny and lawlessness would be the byproduct of their disrespect of the old ways. Severed from their past and tradition, they would bring calumny on their lines. And so did I set out to make a bulwark against such degradation. The mortals ever were filled with glory, if they would but have trials to keep them strong. And, like children, they required punishment as much as praise when they did err. So, I set out to give them pause, to provide them not only a foil to strive against, but a dark and terrible vengeance to those who acted against the word of my law, those who would act selfishly or meanly, or with great sloth. And so, I changed the realms themselves, and brought a universal justice to fill this need. I created the conditions by which a Draugr might rise. And a terrible thing was a Draugr, risen when a mortal had broken their troth with me, and the laws I embody, those I wrote. Those laws that are fundamental to the existence of the realms. The coward who dies not in glorious battle, but skulks and clings to life like a miser. Those who attempt to subvert the natural order to elongate their time. Those sick with greed. Those who put great stock in the gifts of the earth, more than honor, hearth, home, and line. And those most vile, who break their word and betray. By no means would all suffer my ire, my curse, but those whose affronts were most dire, those whose actions were most renowned, to them would fall the fullest force of my wrath. For a lesson was this, a dark curse to warn others of the toll to be endured, when they go against the law of Odin. And thus, the first Draugr awoke. Many names had they eventually: the Aptragangar, who are the Again Walkers, or the Haugbui, who are the Barrow dwellers. No spirit or ephemeral formless things were they, but revenants, the corpses of the cursed given motion. Perpetually rotting, a foul miasma surrounded them, and robbed the lungs of breath of any who approached them. And those with the ken to know would note that they were not buried in recline, as per tradition, but would be stood or sat upon a throne. Long they dwelt in their dark barrows, until one came to desecrate their homes and hoards. And when roused, the Draugr were mighty indeed. They were slow and shuffling until the moment of their vengeance came nigh. Then the Draugr would be fleet, and had such strength in them that a single blow could shatter bones, smash stones, or sunder shields. Nigh invulnerable to normal blade, only a warrior or band of such of worth could dream to best them, and none would do so without high cost in life or limb. And many Draugr did not only defend their lair, for if the infractions were enough, by darkness of night they would hunt the transgressors unto their very homes. And many a community would be left under siege whenever the sun dipped below the horizon. For then the Draugr would return and take vengeance upon those who had done it wrong. Not all Draugr would be of equal peril, for they would reflect in might and darkness the terrible deeds they performed in life. Those who did acts unspeakable and vile would be made unto Draugr of unmatched power. Some there would be who could skin change and even gain mastery of the skies. Others could pull back the skeins of fate and see what was to come. Yet others could visit the dreams of mortals. And no few amongst the Draugr, when woken, would venture out to slaughter and glut themselves on the blood of livestock, or those who stood watch over them. A terror in the night that would shock the mortals back to their right senses. A horror that could only be put to rest by the clean taking of its head from its body. Yet, in the Draugr was also a pathway to redemption. For the power of a Draugr could only be matched by many mortals working as one. And in that battle to defeat the Draugr, the mortals would regain their honor. By common cause and valor alone could such a thing be done. And with valor lauded again, and lawful collaboration showing the mortals the strength of virtue, thus would both be restored. And it would be many years before any would again trespass in the grave of their ancestors, or act in a way that would draw the curse of the Draugr. So would the scales be righted, and virtue be returned. And so, I am a wise god. For I punish, but also give the very pathway to restoration through this mighty trial, as it should be. For a father punishes to teach, not to destroy. And thus I am praised amongst the mortals as the father of all.